I'm here. I'm ready to go, Bill. Okay. June always takes me back to my graduation from Princeton in 1980. Do my misadventures hold any lessons for the class of 2024? I'll tell you. I was an economics major with plans for a journalism career after a summer of European travel. I also considered the Peace Corps, but my practical-minded mother said, "Van, if you join the Peace Corps, I'll make you pay me back every dime I ever sent to Princeton." And she was serious. Well, to my surprise, I landed a reporter-researcher job at Forbes magazine in New York, the capitalist tool. The catch, I had to start work a week after I graduated. That throttled any travel fantasies. Bad call. Back then, Forbes was a twice monthly magazine with a fearsome reputation for twisting the gonads of CEOs and corporate people. Inexperienced and wildly non-confrontational, I struggled like a guppy among piranhas in the Forbes fishbowl. Problems began immediately. My journals from 1980-81 are full of anxiety and pep talks to myself as I tried to get the rhythm of checking financial mysteries. My bumbling exasperated the senior writers. For example, one dubbed a hotshot Wall Street investor a cult figure. So I dutifully underlined the phrase in red on the draft as a fact to check. When I called the guru, I asked him, "So, are you really a cult figure?" By August, the alarm bells rang loud enough for the head of the research department to warn me about my lagging performance. Hovering over the entire operation at 65th Avenue was the Marion malicious warlord, Malcolm Forbes. Reporter-researchers dreaded his ritual of the townhouse luncheon, when Malcolm and sales executives would wine and dine a corporate chieftain who probably had been the subject of a major article. Malcolm and the CEO would sweep into the research department with a copy of the fact-check manuscript. The CEO could then review the manuscript with the hapless reporter for errors and demand explanations as Malcolm watched the fun. My turn came to be the townhouse luncheon dessert. A senior reporter-researcher warned me that Tony O'Reilly, CEO of H.J. Heinz and Company, the ketchup people, would come down to scan a story I checked. Well, O'Reilly looked at the manuscript, didn't see anything amiss, and moved on. I collapsed in relief at my desk, head resting on my IBM Selectric typewriter, and I took the rest of the afternoon off. Soon after signing the lease for my first apartment in Brooklyn's Cobble Hill neighborhood, my manager told me over a Chinese food lunch to find another job. I finally became an editor at a humble trade magazine, Quick Frozen Foods. This job was actually a far better fit for my skill set and personality, and it paid 50% more than Forbes. Well, in 1983, the magazine relocated to Cleveland. I stayed in New York to try freelancing. So my career arc moved from Princeton to Forbes to Quick Frozen Foods to an unemployment line in Brooklyn in less than 3 years. Wow. I never read Forbes after I left. To this day, over 40 years later, I never ever walk in front of the former Forbes building at 65th Avenue, lest its haunted shadow fall on me. Instead, I cross to the other side of the street to keep the wraiths of memory at bay. Still, looking back, I learned the value of fact-checking, and I did some memorable stories. My very last story, Private Eyes for Inks, covered corporate investigators in the personal affairs section. Malcolm himself wrote fascinating MF on a draft copy, which I still have. That moment gave me great satisfaction, proof that I knew what I was doing, sometimes. I eventually moved into a satisfying editorial career, mostly for accounting firms. My journalism skills are a great help in corporate work. Compared to 1980, I've evolved from the anxiety-racked 20-something fact-checker to the informed and unflappable wordsmith who confidently guides teams and spins out persuasive copy as fast as I can type. faster than AI, I think. So, lessons for new grads. Dare to dream, but if you fail, learn from the experience. Don't be humiliated by it. Savor the wins, build skills, and be flexible. Learn to spell correctly, use proper grammar, and write in a jargon-free and logical style. That will serve you well as you compete against the semi-literates in the job market. And if you want to join the Peace Corps, take my word for it, screw it, join the Peace Corps. Thank you.